Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Shire for Hire's Commander EDH Deck Tech, and I am your host, Shire for Hire. Hope everyone's doing well today on this fine Sunday afternoon. I know I am. Today's deck that I bring to you is Sauron the Dark Lord. He is a deck, or it's a deck that I've been working on since this set first came out. I'd say about, 2 years ago, maybe even more than that now at this point. I wasn't playing Magic at the time. I had taken a nice long break, but being a Lord of the Rings fan, I knew that when this set came out, I had to buy the cards. And I got a box of collector boosters, and then I got a box of the special edition collector's boosters. They have like the poster cards, as you can see here. I actually did not pull that card. There are other cards that I did pull, some of which I've used for trade fodder to build this deck and other decks. There was a serialized the human soul ring, which that was awesome because it allowed me to invest in other decks that I was and currently still am working on. But without further ado, we're going to jump into this one because I feel like it's going to be a long one. There's going to be some explaining as far as certain mechanics, and I want to do it as concise as possible. So let's get into it, all right? We have Sauron the Dark Lord. He's a legendary creature. He's 3 colorless, a blue, a red, and a black. Those are Grixis colors. He's an avatar horror. Whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. So here's one of those things we're going to explain. We're going to explain the ring and it tempting you. This is the ring. This is just a token. But it basically breaks it down what the ring does. So when the ring tempts you, as the ring tempts you, you get an emblem named the ring. If you don't have one, then your emblem gains its next ability, and you choose a creature you control to become or remain your ring bearer. The ring can tempt you even if you don't control a creature. The ring gains its abilities in order from top to bottom. Once it gains an ability, it has the ability for the rest of the game. Each time the ring tempts you, you must choose a creature if you control one. Each player can have only one emblem named the ring and only one ring bearer at a time. You can't have 2 of these on one team. Another player, your opponent, can have its own ring, but you cannot have 2. So this is the emblem right here. It's the ring. The first instance of the ring. Now, every time the ring tempts you, you're going to be going down each category. So the first time the ring tempts you, your ring bearer is legendary and can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. So that means even if it's like a non-legendary creature, it's now legendary. The second time the ring tempts you, and there's going to be a lot of tempting in this deck. Whenever your ring bearer attacks, draw a card, then you discard a card. The third time that the ring tempts you, whenever your ring bearer becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller sacrifices it at the end of combat. And the last time it tempts you. And also also note that these will never repeat themselves. Once the ability is unlocked, that's it. The ability is unlocked. You'll be able to put this on other creatures. And it doesn't target, so you can even put it on creatures that say they have like Shroud. Whenever your ring bearer deals combat damage to a player, each opponent loses 3 life. So this is what the ring does. If you need to, just pause it there, go over it. But this is the ring, and then we're going to get into what's awesome things, other things the ring can do outside of just the emblem. So the second part of Sauron here is Ward. Sacrifice a legendary artifact or legendary creature. What is Ward? Anytime Sauron or any other creature is targeted by a spell, ability, or I think even a creature, and they're targeting a creature that has Ward, they have to pay an extra, let's call it like an ante or an extra price in order. So if you're going to cast a murder on Sauron, you're going to have to either sacrifice a legendary artifact or a legendary creature on top of the mana cost to get rid of him. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass orcs once. Amassing orcs is, if you don't have an orc token, you put an orc. Well, I actually have one here. Let's see if we can just get to that. Okay, we have an orc army token, right? There's the orc army, Alright? Every time it says amass orcs 1, you see where it says 0. If you don't have an orc token, you're going to put an orc token out, and it's going to be a 1/1. Some other abilities will make it 2/2. If you already have an orc token out, and it's already, say it's like 2/2, and you play a spell that says amass orcs 3, now it's a 5/5. So that's how amass orcs works. I hope I explained that well enough. Then the last ability on Sauron, whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 4 cards. There are going to be times where you don't even have cards in your hand, or you might have just 1 or 2. You could get rid of them, then you could draw 4 cards. This is an awesome card, and I love the art on it. I love the poster art. I love the foiling. Everything about this card just screams Lord of the Rings. It's like an old 70s band poster, man, from way back in the day. So we're going to get into our creatures now. And this is where I love this. Love the creatures. So we're going to go into it right now. We have Orcish Bowmasters for a black and a colorless, and Orc Archer. He's a 1/1 flash. When Orcish Bowmasters enters the battlefield, and whenever an opponent draws a card except for the first one they would draw on each of their draw steps, Orcish Bowmasters deals 1 damage to any target, then amass Orcs 1. We went over the Orc tokens. We know what they do. Then here we have, all of them are different arts. We got the Nazgul. We have 9 different Nazgul. We're going to go through all 9 of them, and then I'm going to read off what it does on this last one here. Nazgul, for 2 colorless and 1 black, he's a Wraith Knight. He's got Death Touch. When the Nazgul enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Whenever the ring tempts you, you put a 1/1 counter on each Wraith that you control. That includes this one too. A deck can have up to 9 cards named Nazgul, and we made sure that we have 9 of them. You got to keep it thematic, you know. We have an opposition agent. It's not in the Lord of the Rings set, but I feel like it's good flavor. Somebody that works for like Sauron, 2 colorless and a black. Also one of my favorite black creatures. Flash. You control your opponents while they're searching their library. So if they're looking for a land, or if they're looking for an enchantment or an artifact, I'm taking over your turn. While an opponent is searching their library, they exile each card they find. You may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast them. Such an awesome card. Corsairs of Umbar. We have pirates, guys. Corsairs of Umbar is 3 colorless and a blue. Human pirate. It is 3/3 for a blue and 2 colorless. Target goblin, orc, or pirate cannot be blocked this turn. Whenever Corsairs of Umbar deals combat damage to a player, amass orcs 3. I have a lot of amassing in here. And then we have Grima. Saruman's Footman for 2 colorless, a blue, and a black. He is a 1/4 human advisor. Grima, Saruman's Footman, cannot be blocked. Whenever Grima deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant or sorcery card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then that player puts the exiled cards that weren't cast this way on the bottom of their library in any order. I love this card. Sharky, Tyrant of the Shire. For those who don't know, that is Sauron. After Sauron was exiled from Orthanc, he ended up going to the Shire and trying to take it over and exact his revenge on the hobbits. For 2 colorless, a blue, and a black, he's an Avatar Rogue. He's a 2/4. Activated abilities of lands your opponents control can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. Sharky, Tyrant of the Shire, has all activated abilities of lands your opponents control except mana abilities. Mana of any type can be spent to activate Sharky's abilities. He's a pretty decent card, and then it's all about the flavor. All about the flavor. Another card that is not in the Lord of the Rings set, but fitting because it's goblins. It's Crankle Mob Boss. You guys know what he does. He's 2 colorless, 2 red. He's a Goblin Warrior, 3/3. Tap him. Create X 1/1 red Goblin creature tokens, where X is the number of goblins you control. I love this card. Anything that's going to run tokens, I'm always going to put him in it. And then we have the Mirkwood Bats. This is one of our drain cards. It's 3 colorless and a black. He is 2/3 flying. Whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. We're going to put this card down here because there's a combined art. I'm a big fan of the cards that connect together. We have Sauron, the White Hand. He is 1 colorless, a blue, a black, and a red. He's an Avatar Wizard, 2/5. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, amass Orcs X, where X is the spell's mana value. We already went over what amass does, so we're not doing it again. Goblins and Orcs you control have Ward 2. So again, if they're going to attack, if you're going to go after my Goblins and Orcs, you're going to have to spend a little extra something on the 2 colorless mana to get rid of it. Shelob, the Dread Weaver, Spider Demon, 3 colorless, a black for a 3/3. I love this card. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, exile it. With 2 colors and a black, put a creature card exiled with Shelob Dreadweaver into its owner's graveyard. Put 2 1/1 counters on Shelob, draw a card. X, 1 colorless and a black. Put target creature card with mana value exiled with Shelob onto the battlefield, tapped under your control. Yeah, she just reminds me of like Sheldred, the Whispering one. Big fan of that card too. We're getting a different treatment of this card coming in the mail here in the next couple days. Lord of the Nazgul. He is 3 colors, a blue and a black. Wraith Noble. He is a 4/3. Flying. Race you control have protection from ring bearers. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 3/3 black wraith creature token with menace. And if you control 9 or more rays you control have base power and toughness 9/9 until the end of the turn. And we've got plenty of wraith tokens. The art is just so good. So good. And that is our Lord of the Nazgul. Now we have Sauron the White for 4 colorless and 1 blue, even though they really should have just called him Saruman the Blue, but whatever. He's an Avatar Wizard. He is 4/4 uncommon, Ward 2. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, amass Orcs 2. That's pretty much all he does. He stays for the flavor. And now we have Sauron, the Lidless Eye, 3 colorless, a black and a red for 4/4. Avatar Horror. When Sauron, the Lidless Eye, enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature an opponent controls until the end of the turn. Untap it. It gains haste until the end of the turn. For a colorless, a black, and a red, creatures you control get +2/+0 until the end of turn. Each opponent loses 2 life. I love the art on this card. Sauron the Necromancer. 3 colorless, 2 black. Avatar Horror, 4/4. Menace. Whenever Sauron the Necromancer attacks, exile target creature card from your graveyard. Create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of that card, except for it's a 3/3 black wraith with menace on top of it. At the beginning of the next end step, exile that token unless Sauron is your ring bearer, and we will be doing that. We have the Witch King of Angmar, 3 colorless, 2 black, Wraith Noble, 5/3 with flying. Whenever 1 or more creatures deals combat damage to you, each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt combat to you this turn. The ring tempts you. He sacrifices that creature. Discard a card. Witch King of Angmar gains indestructible until the end of turn, and then tap it. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, I was going on about these art cards here. I'm totally screwing this up. We have Ring Wraiths, 4 colorless, 2 black, Wraith Knight, 5/5. When Ring Wraiths enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent control gets -3/-3 until the end of the turn. If that creature is legendary, its controller loses 3 life. When the ring tempts you, return Ring Wraiths from your graveyard to your hand. Great recursion. Excellent recursion. Then we have the Voracious Fell Beast. 4 colorless, 2 black. Drake Beast. He's a 4/4. Flying. When Voracious Fell Beast enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Create a food token for each creature sacrificed this way. So, we have that goes there. And then that goes there. And you have the combined art. I love it. I think it's awesome. Don't at me. Alright. Now that we've got those out of the way, let's get back to the rest of these here creatures. We have the Balrog of Moria. 4 colors, 2 black, 1 red. He's an 8/8 Avatar Demon. Trample, haste. Wish he had flying. When the Balrog of Moria dies, you may exile it. When you do, for each opponent, exile up to 1 target creature that player controls. Cycling 3 colors in red. When you cycle the Balrog of Moria, create 2 treasure tokens. The Balrog, Durin's Bane, 5 colors, a black and a red Avatar Demon, 7/5. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each permanent sacrificed this turn. Haste. The Balrog, Durin's Bane, can't be blocked except by legendary creatures. When the Balrog dies, destroy target artifact or creature an opponent controls. Witch King Skyscourge, my bad. I jumped the gun on that one. Legendary creature, Wraith Noble, he's 5 colors, a black and a red, he's a 5/5 with flyer. Whenever you attack with 1 or more Wraiths, exile the top X cards of your library, where X is their total power. You may play those cards this turn. Undying, if this creature dies, it had no 1/1 counters on it, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a 1/1 counter on it. Last creature for the deck is going to be Sauron, the Lord of the Rings. 5 colors, a blue, a black, and a red. Avatar Horror, 9/9. When you cast this spell, amass Orcs 5. Mill 5 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It has Trample. Whenever a commander and opponent control dies, the ring tempts you. And trust me, there's going to be a lot more ring tempting. We're going to jump into our artifacts now. We have the Morgul Knife, aka the Shadow Spear. For those who don't know, a lot of the Lord of the Rings cards that were printed were just basically reprints of other cards, just gave them different names. There's just a different coat of paint. For 1 colorless, the Morgul Knife is an equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has Trample and Lifelink. For 1 colorless, permanent your opponent's control, lose hexproof and indestructible until the end of the turn. The equip is 2. Soul Ring. We have 1 colorless. I actually have the human Soul Ring going into the deck here this coming week. For 1 colorless, you guys know what a Soul Ring does. Tap it, add 2 colors to your mana pool. We have a Lightning Greaves, 2 colors. Artifact Equipment, you guys know what that does. Arcane Signet, you guys know what that does. Swiftwood Boots. Chromatic Lantern, lands I control have tap, add any mana of any color. Palantir of Orthanc, 3 colorless. This is word salad, so prepare yourself. It's a legendary artifact. At the beginning of your end step, put an influence counter on Palantir Orthanc and scry 2. That target opponent may have you draw a card. If that player doesn't, you mill X cards, where X is the number of influence counters on Palantir of Orthanc, and that player loses life equal to the total mana value of those cards. This card is so good. Of course, we got to have the One Ring. I actually have a poster of this coming in the mail too at some point this week. 4 colorless, legendary artifact, indestructible. When the One Ring enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you gain protection from everything until your next turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life for each burden counter on the One Ring. Tap it. Put a burden counter on the One Ring. Then draw a card for each burden counter on the One Ring. This is going to be this is a huge card draw. The protection from everything is pretty damn funny too. Relic of Sauron, 4 colorless for an artifact. This really should have been legendary, but whatever. Tap it. Add 2 mana in any combination of blue, black, and or red. Tap. 3 colorless, tap, draw 2 cards, and then discard a card. That was our artifacts. Now we'll get into our instants. We have, to kick it off, we have Entomb. Search your library for a card. Put that card in the graveyard, then shuffle. Don't like blue, but I'll tell you what, I'm having a lot of fun with blue in this deck. Cyclonic Rift, 1 colorless, 1 blue. Return target non-land permanent you control to its owner's hand. Overload, 6 colorless and a blue. You may cast a spell for its overload cost. If you do, change target and its text to each. Go for the Throat, a black and a colorless. Instant, destroy target artifact creature. Terminate, for a black and a red, destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Now, a lot of these cards are in here just for flavor, you know. Like, it's thematic. I really feel like this is very Sauron. When it comes to blue, I think that it's like, it's definitely Sauron counterspelling Gandalf when they're fighting in Orthanc. That's how I think of it. For 2 blue, instant, counter target spell. Mana Drain, for 2 blue, counter target spell, all at the beginning of your next main phase, add X to your mana pool, where X is the casting cost of target spell. Deflecting Swat. I tell you what, man, this is going to go in almost every single freaking deck that I have that's got red in it. For 2 colorless and a red, if you control a commander, you may cast a spell without paying its mana cost. You may choose new targets for the target spell or ability. Now, for those who don't know, say like I go and I cast my commander and then somebody goes and hits, throws out a counter spell, I can play this, and on the stack I can target the counter spell to target this, and my commander will still come out. Saved my ass quite a few times. Saruman's Trickery, for a colorless and 2 blue, counter target spell, amass orcs 1. We're going to get into our sorceries. We have Reanimate for 1 black. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose life equal to its mana value. I've done this on turn 3 with a Balrog and caught a lot of hell for it. But hey, you know, cards fall how they fall, right? Demonic Tutor. It is 1 colorless and a black. Search your library for a card, put that card in your hand, then shuffle. This is also for those who give a shit about CEDH. I don't, but I figured for, you know, the people that do like CEDH, this is a bracket 4, and the salt summary on it is about 57. It's it's mid as far as salt goes. We have Feed the Swarm for a colorless and a black. Destroy target creature or enchantment an opponent controls. You lose life equal to that permanent's mana value. I see people using this card and that are just using it to destroy creatures and not waiting for an enchantment to come out. I highly, highly recommend that you just hold off. And black cards don't destroy enchantments, and this is one of the very few that do. So covet this card. Don't waste it on a creature. Summons a Saruman. Get ready for some word salad. For X colorless, blue, and a red, amass orcs X, mill X cards. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value X or less from among them and without paying its mana cost. Flashback, 3 colors, a blue and a red. Exile X cards from your graveyard. It's going to be 5 cards, and I'll be amassing orcs all over again and doing the same thing. Toxic Deluge. I feel like this is very important. This is probably like the over by the dead marshes. This is what it reminds me of. For 2 colors and a black, as an additional cost to cast this spell, pay X life. All creatures get negative X until the end of the turn. Treason of Isengard, 2 colorless, 1 blue. Put up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library. Amass orcs 2. Languish, 2 colors, 2 black. All creatures get -4, -4 until the end of turn. Living Death, 3 colors, 2 black. Each player exiles all creature cards from their graveyard, then sacrifices all creatures they control. Then put all cards they exiled this way onto the battlefield. Pretty gross. Shadow of the Enemy, for 3 colorless and 3 black. Sorcery. Exile all creature cards from target player's graveyard. You may cast spells from among these cards for as long as they remain exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast them. Too Greedily, 2 deep, 5 colors, a black and a red. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. That creature deals damage equal to its power to each other creature. Ouch. You're going to see why. Blasphemous Act, for 8 colors and a red. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. Blasphemous Act deals 13 damage to each creature. I have a little something in this deck that makes those just hit even harder. So we're going to get into our enchantments. We have March from the Black Gate, for a colorless and a black. Enchantment. March from the Black Gate enters the battlefield, and whenever an army you control attacks, amass orcs 1. 1 ring to rule them all. 2 colorless, 2 black. As this saga enters the battlefield, and after your draw step, add a lore counter, sacrifice after the 3rd one. It's a saga is an enchantment. So after my beginning of my upkeep, then when it enters, it's going to do this. The ring tempts you. Then each player mills cards equal to your ring bearer's power. Then on the second upkeep, it'll destroy all non-legendary creatures. On the 3rd, each opponent loses 1 life for each creature card in that player's graveyard. There and back again, a Hobbit's Tale. Up to 1 target creature can't block for as long as you control. There and back again, the ring tempts you. Chapter 2. Search your library for a mountain card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. And then 3. Create a Smaug, legendary 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying, haste, and when this creature dies, create 14 treasure tokens. And we have a Smaug. Where is the Smaug? There's the Smaug. Ripplefoil Smaug. That was our... Oh, nope, we got 1 left. Whoops. We got 2 left. Shit. In the Darkness, Bind Them. 2 colors, a blue, a black, and a red. In Chapter 1... Create a 3/3 black wraith creature token with menace. The ring tempts you. Chapter 2, the same thing. Chapter 3, the same thing. Chapter 4. For each opponent, gain control up to 1 target creature that player controls until the end of the turn. Untap those creatures. They gain haste until the end of the turn. The ring tempts you. Such a great card. Such a great card. I love it when I'm stealing people's shit. And the last enchantment in here is going to be Fiery Emancipation. Very reminds me of Mount Doom, so it's in there. 3 colors, 3 red. If a source you control will deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple that damage to that permanent or player instead. So that Blasphemous Act is doing 39 damage. I've seen it happen. We're going to get into the lands, and then that's pretty much going to be the end of this one. So we have a lot of the lands. They're very thematic, very flavor. We like flavor. We have the Black Gate. I'm actually getting the foil showcase on this coming in the mail here too in the next week. As Black Gate enters the battlefield, you may pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tab. Tap, add a black. For a colorless and a black, tap. Choose a player with the most life or tied for most life. Target creature can't be blocked by creatures that player controls this turn. Mount Doom, legendary land. I've got the poster of this coming in too. Pay 1 life, add 1 red or 1 black. Beautiful pain land for a colorless, a black, and a red. Tap it. Mount Doom deals 1 damage to each opponent. 5 colorless, a red, and a black. Tap. Sacrifice Mount Doom and a legendary artifact. Choose up to 2 creatures, then destroy the rest. Activate only as a sorcery. Of course. Minas Mogul, aka Cabal Coffers. It is 2 colors of black. Tap. Add black for each swamp you control. What's the flavor text on that? Evil things came forth, and they took Minas Ithil and abode in it, and they made it into a place of dread. It is now called Minas Mogul, the Tower of Sorcery. Elrond of Rivendell. Minas Morgul, the Dark Fortress. This one's unique. Minas Morgul, the Dark Fortress, enters the battlefield tapped. Tap it for a black, for a 3 colorless and 1 black. Tap it. Put a shadow counter on target creature. For as long as that creature has a shadow counter on it, it's a wraith in addition to its other types. A creature with shadow can block or be blocked only by creatures with shadow. You're going to make quite a few unblockables with that. Isengard, Saruman's fortress, besides you, who shelters all, aka legendary land. Isengard, Saruman's fortress, enters the battlefield tapped. Tap it, pay 2 life, add a colorless. If that mana is spent on an instant or sorcery spell, that spell can't be countered. Love it. Barad-dûr, legendary land. Barad-dûr enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature. Tap it, add a swamp. For XX colorless and a black, tap. Amass Orcs X. Activate only if a creature died this turn. Paths of the Dead, aka Cavern of Souls, and I fucking just love that art. Land. As Path of the Dead enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Tap, add a colorless. Tap it again, add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type, and that spell can't be countered. Most of the time we're probably going for wraiths, because we have quite a few of them in there. Depends on what our hand looks like, though, honestly. But the Dead Marshes, Urborg, Tome of Yawgmoth, aka each land is a swamp in addition to its other types. All dead, all rotten, elves and men and orcs. There was a great battle here long ago. Yes, Golem. Balin's Tomb. Love this card, aka Ancient Tomb. Tap, add 2 colors. Balin's Tomb deals 2 damage to you. On the slab, runes were deeply graven. Balin, son of Fundin, Lord of Moria. Den of the Bugbear, it got some D&D flavor in there. We're running goblins, so this is going to benefit our goblins. It's going to benefit Krinko. If you control 2 or more of the lands, Den of the Bugbear enters the battlefield. Tap, add a red. 3 colorless and a red. Until the end of turn, Den of the Bugbear becomes a 3/2 red goblin creature with, whenever this creature attacks, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. It's still a land. Not the goblin token, this guy. Command Tower, you guys know what that does. Crumbling Necropolis enters the battlefield tapped for a blue, a black, and a red. Bloodstained Mire, I'm actually going to be taking these out. I've got some proxies that are coming in the mail. Big fan of them. Very, very flavorful with the deck, but these are our fetchies. Scalding Tarn. Underground Sea, also taking these out too. My Underground Sea, my Volcanic Island, and my Badlands, taking those out. I don't like the way people shuffle my cards sometimes, so Steam Vents, you guys know what the Shocklands do. Road to Crypt, Watery Grave. We have Sulphur Falls, red or blue. I have Dragon Skull Summit, black or red. Drowned Catacomb, blue or black. Underground River, blue or black. Sulphurous Springs, red or black. Painland. We got a Smoldering Marsh, red or black. Sunken Hollow, blue or black. And then we have 3 of the islands, 3 of the swamps, and 3 of the mountains. our land base is sitting at 37 lands. So overall, the stats on this are 29 creatures, 9 artifacts, 5 enchantments, 8 instants, 37 lands, 11 sorceries. As far as the more in-depth breakdown, we've got 1 burn spell, we have 9 +1/+1 counters, we have 1 drain, 4 draw spells, 1 life gain, 3 protection, 5 ramp, 7 recursion, 17 removal, 2 stacks, 2 theft, 6 token generators, and 2 tutors. So far this, I've gone 4-1 with this deck in the last week and a half. 3 of those games were in a pod. I lost that 1 game in the pod, but I won 2 games in a pod, and I won 2 games 1v1. So it's a fun deck. It's a lot of fun. For the CEDH heads, it is a bracket 4. The only reason it's not higher, I don't have more. I have no land destruction in it. I've got the 2 tutors, which apparently makes that a bracket 4. So, yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Feel free to like, comment. If there's anything that you would recommend to add to the deck, I'm open to suggestions and constructive criticism. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic rest of the day, and I will catch you on the next one. Thank you. Peace.